Hello, my name is Syrkaz and welcome to a pretty important channel/life update video. If you're a subscriber to the channel, a follower on Twitch or on Twitter, or any way interested in the content that I make, I would encourage you to stick around for a little bit while I make the announcement. I'll try to make it as short as possible. And then if you're interested in more details, just stick around for a little bit longer while I'll try to answer some questions that you might have and explain the reasons behind the decision that I'm making. There are two important announcements that I need to make today. One is that I'm taking a bit of a break from gaming altogether. And another one is I'm taking an indefinite break from Syrkaz, all things Syrkaz. And when I say an indefinite break, is a break that I have no intention of coming back from. This might seem a pretty dramatic decision. And trust me, it's probably the most difficult decision I've made in a long time. But I feel like it's the right one for me, for my family, for our future, and for the decisions that are coming up that I need to make without the weight of content creation, weighing on those decisions. Now, I'm going to tell you right up front, my wife has always been supportive of me doing YouTube and Twitch. She was actually wondering if I was making the right decision, if I was sure I was making the right decision, if I was doing this decision for somebody else. And it was only when I assured her that this is something that I've decided for myself that she was okay with it. She's always been incredibly supportive. Thankfully, our family is in great condition. Our relationship is great. Our baby, now 4.5 months old, is great. Nothing to complain there. This is a decision that has to do with me personally, where I want to be in the future, and the things that I need to focus my time and attention on. And how that affects what I'm doing in terms of YouTube and all that stuff. The break from gaming is temporary. I've been gaming for a long time, and multiplayer games are kind of a way that I have to keep social interactions with some people because I work from home. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy them, the competitiveness of it and all that stuff. But I need to take a break because they are really time consuming. And at this point in life, I need to focus on a few other things, primarily health and career. Health, primarily sleep, actually. And this kind of is one of the reasons why it also bleeds into the content creation side of things, why I'm putting a stop on that. But it's because I normally create content or play games, which overlaps here, late at night, usually after my wife and kid are down to sleep, and I have some time to come down to my office and play some games, record, and do whatever. The problem is that it's really affecting my sleep. I have a pretty strict getting up time that I can't really change for not just for me, but because of family reasons. I have to be up at 6:30 in the morning, and usually I don't start gaming or making content, recording anything before 10:30. The exception is usually streams on Friday that I try to start at 8 p.m. Yeah, that's early. Like, my wife's still awake. I'm stealing time that I could be spending with her. She's fine with it, but it's not ideal for me. The problem is that if you think about it, I have to get up at 6:30. Usually I don't get to the computer before 10:30. Usually recording or playing games or whatever it is that I'm doing won't take less than 2 to 3 hours. If it's recording, it involves editing, which put another hour and a half on top of that, maybe 2 hours. We're talking about, I never get to bed before 1:30, 2:33 even sometimes. And I still have to get up at 6:30, 7 at the most. And so I need to regain that. I need to sleep 7 hours probably every night on a very consistent basis, because I've noticed that it's starting to affect my brain, like my ability to think on complex problems, which software development, which is what I want to do even more going forward, involves. And it's really frustrating to just be tired all the time and not have full access to the brain power, to the skills that you have. But just the lack of sleep is really affecting that, and I need to regain that. And that also involves eating better and having a little bit more discipline in terms of what I eat, exercise that I do. And it starts with sleep, in my opinion. It starts with being able to wake up and being fully awake and kind of owning the decisions you make out through the day. And I feel like it's a lot easier for me to kind of let go of my health, let go of being careful with what I eat if I don't sleep, because it's harder to make those decisions. It's harder when the time comes and I need to decide what I'm going to have for dinner, I'm going to have for lunch, whatever it is. to just, whatever, I'll just grab something and not really think through and make the decision of like, I should make something healthy because it's going to benefit me in the long run. It also has to do with a few decisions that I know as a family we're going to have to make in the next few months, potentially even up to a year. Those are pretty significant changes that could happen in our life, where we live, being the biggest one, obviously, but even like career and job that I'm going to take, a lot of these things. And I need to remove the weight of guilt or of just the conditioning that content creation gives me. In the past, it has affected what house we pick, what equipment I buy, how do I schedule my work. All these things have been affected by my desire to create content. And even when I don't make content, then I feel guilty that I'm not making content. And going forward, there's some pretty hard decisions that we're going to have to make, transitional, most of them, thankfully, but some decisions that we're going to have to make that I need to be able to make them without having the weight of creating content just weighing on those decisions in any way. They might involve moving to a different apartment, to a different house. That could affect a lot of things related to creating content. We might be a period of time living with my in-laws, potentially even, which that will always affect creating content. I probably won't have that ability there. So there's just all these decisions that we're going to have to make that I need to make them in clear conscience without anything weighing us down or weighing me down and making those decisions for me and my family. But why the dramatic end to Syrkaz kind of a thing? The world has changed. When I started Syrkaz in 2012, YouTube was ripe for gaming content creators. And then Twitch came along and it was ripe for content creation as well. I never got into Twitch originally because I feel like to succeed on Twitch, you have to have you just have to put in a lot of hours. And by the time that I got to that point where Twitch was around and I was interested in making videos, I didn't. I had a career. I was already married. I didn't have the ability to just forego my life in order to stream for 8 to 10 hours a day and 6 days a week in order to succeed on Twitch. Because I really feel that's one of the ways, or probably one of the few ways you can actually succeed on Twitch. And so if you're young, if you're still living with your parents, you don't have expenses, you don't have responsibilities, maybe you can give it a shot. In the place that I'm at in life, I can't give it a shot. And so that's one of the biggest reasons on the YouTube side. Gaming content is not really being promoted, if you want to call it. You might say that YouTube is changing algorithm. You might say whatever you want to say. I'm not here to say woe me because I wasn't helped like people were 5 years ago. Whatever. That's not the case. I gave it a shot, and in pretty much everything that I do, I want to give it my best, and I want to feel like I'm succeeding in some way. I really don't care about immediate success. I'm okay with working hard for long periods of time in order to succeed. But it's kind of, I'm reaching a plateau in terms of both YouTube and Twitch. And I'm feeling like I don't have the personality to kind of break out of it and go further past it. And I just have to be honest with myself. And this is the part that's the hardest in terms of this decision, is that it feels like admitting failure. But the reality is you learn from failure. And I think that one of the most important lessons I took from all of this is that if you give it a shot and you fail and you give it another shot, learning, and you give it another shot and you fail and you give it another shot and you fail, quitting at the end of it is not necessarily an admission of fault. Like, I failed at this. It's more an admission that it probably wasn't a good fit. It probably wasn't just a good fit in terms of your personality. It wasn't a good fit in your interests. It wasn't a good fit in whatever reason it may be. And so it comes a time that you have to recognize that and kind of gather up all the lessons and move on to the next thing. And that's where I feel like I'm at. I don't see myself playing video games to the extent that I have been for the last year or so, for the next 5 years, 10 years. And so I feel like there's limited growth potential for me on Twitch, on YouTube. And if this was a purely hobbyist type of thing that I have as a part-time, and I was already satisfied with the career that I have, with the place that I'm at in life, professionally and all these other things, then yeah, sure. Like I could just stream at late at night or whatever, as long as it wouldn't steal from sleep or whatever my decision is in that sense. But it would be more compatible. But I'm at a point where I'm not satisfied where I'm at. And I need to invest a lot of time, a lot of attention, and primarily focus on getting to where I want to be professionally, in order to allow us as a family to be where we want to be as a family. And I know I'm being super rambly, but I just wanted to get into as many reasons as I could potentially think of to kind of explain the decision, because it is a difficult decision for me. I know a lot of you will be upset about it. I'm incredibly thankful for the community that kind of built around my channel, the content that I make. You guys are freaking amazing. You guys are very generous of your time and of your money through all these months. It's been an incredible experience to get to entertain you in some way, apparently, because you seem to be entertained, but also just really enjoy the games in a way that I like to enjoy games. And a little bit of information, like even from my past, there's probably only 2 games, single player games, that I played extensively in the past. And one of them was 007 Nightfire in the early 2000s, and Tomb Raider 2, probably very early 2000s too. And both of those games I played because I had friends over. Like I was playing the game and I had one on Tomb Raider 2. It was a good friend of mine that didn't like playing video games, but liked watching video games, like to enjoy video games, like to think, but wasn't very good at controlling it. And so he would come over and we'd just hang out and play games. That's basically what we did. And Nightfire was the same thing. Like I'd have 2 or 3 friends that would stop over at different times, and I'd play games and they'd be watching them. And this is way before YouTube. And YouTube for me allowed me to play single player games that I would never play, but I would be interested and curious about playing. But with having this community of people watching and feeling productive in a way, at the least for me, that I'm not just playing a game and enjoying it for myself. I'm actually hopefully entertaining somebody else and allowing somebody else who wouldn't play the game but for themselves to enjoy the game through my gameplay. Now, 2 things. I love gaming. I think I'll always love gaming. I love the gaming community. And I love content creation. I don't think this is a goodbye from either of those things. I think this is an end to a stage in my life, to a period, to a brand, if you want to call that. It's an end to just a chapter of my life. And I think it's the best decision that I could make, albeit really incredibly hard. But I feel like it's the right one. And again, even though it's one of the saddest, and harder decisions for me to make, it is the right time to do it. And I just had to do it for myself, for my family, and for just the future. Now, this is like the 4th or 5th take of this recording. It's really hard for me to try to convey what's going on in my head and in my heart, and just be clear and be concise at the same time. So I know you guys will have questions, and I want you to feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'll try to answer as many as I can. But just understand that this is not about lack of support. This is not about lack of viewership. This is not about any of those things. It's me realizing that creating gaming content is not what I want to be doing in the future. And while I'm enjoying it currently, I don't see myself enjoying it as much as I am right now in the future, for many reasons. And it's more of a realization that, like I was saying, this chapter ended and a new chapter needs to begin. And that's not to say that I won't come back to gaming in a different angle, be it like a podcast or be it creating software for gamers or whatever it may be. I don't know. But it's more like the specific gaming content creation ran its course in my life. It was incredibly enjoyable. I'll have incredible memories from it. I will miss doing it for sure. But also the recognition that it's over, and being hard to make that decision makes it more real to me. The fact that it's hard makes it more real that it actually was a good time and it was worth it. But it's just, now is the right time to put an end to it. Not a year from now, not 2 years from now. Now is the right time. Now I intend to come back to playing games. I will probably not return to the Syrkaz channel or name or anything. But I still want to play games with you guys. So a lot of you already follow me, or we're already friends on Steam. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with Discord, because I think Discord will always be a big pull in terms of temptation to come back and make content. That's probably the most difficult part, I'll be honest. The relationships that I've built around the channel, around gaming, I feel like I'm ripping a part of myself out. But I want to maintain those relationships no matter how hard that may be. I want to keep potentially gaming with these people once in a while in the future. And so I don't know how I'm going to do this logistically. But I think for a period of time, I'm going to be completely offline from anything Syrkaz, just to avoid the temptation to come back, the temptation to play games all the time as well. I might play a few games here and there, a few rounds of PUBG on weekends or something like that. But I'm going to try to avoid it completely. It's like, it feels like I'm quitting smoking, you know. I never smoked in my life, but every person that I know that smoked and quit smoking, they talk about it the same way. It's like you have to either bandage it or you have to progressively take it off. I feel like my personality, it's to just rip it off. And so it's really hard. I just want to make this clear. I'm not making this decision lightly. Like I said earlier, this is one of the most difficult decisions that I've made. But it just needs to happen. And I feel bad for a lot of people who are very supportive and wanted to see me continue doing this. I know that. I feel sorry and I feel bad. But I just ask you to understand why I'm doing it. And I know that there are plenty of other content creators out there that can and will use your support and need your support. And so I just want you to encourage to find another community, to find other creators, and just kind of embrace them and support them as you have done to me. And I'm sure you'll be fine. If there's one last piece of advice that I'd like to leave, one last thought, is I'd like to encourage everybody that plays games or watches streams or watches gaming videos, to just think about why you do it. There's nothing wrong with gaming. There's nothing wrong with watching streams or watching YouTube videos or whatever it is. But it usually, entertainment tends to be a way to fill a void that you have. And I know that for a lot of people that may be boredom. For other people is the need to have companionship and the feeling of community. For other people, maybe on the content creation side of things, maybe it's the fact that you're producing something, you're creating a piece of content out there, and you just enjoy that. It's kind of like an art. It's entertainment in that way. Because I feel, for me, and this is what I've been questioning myself, because I feel like content creation ended up being gaming, and content creation ended up being just a way to procrastinate making decisions in my life that would lead to a better place in general. I've put off a lot of decisions and that now looking back I should have made years ago, under the pretense that I was busy and that I was doing something productive. And the reality is I was probably fooling myself. I think it was the time well spent. I don't regret how I spent my time. I don't regret creating videos and creating content, but it wasn't productive in the sense that it didn't benefit me or it didn't progress my life in any productive way. And if I was just doing it from a place of I'm content and satisfied with my life, where the rest of my life is, that's fine. But in my specific case, again, this is the thoughts that I'm going through personally. In my specific case, I should have taking the same amount of time and dedication that I put into YouTube and gaming and put into more productive things. And maybe now I could be doing YouTube a few hours a week and be fine and then have all the time to do that. I'm not going to name names here because I'd run the risk of forgetting a lot. I'll put in the description below the final top donator list, people who have given me significant amount of money, and I'm extremely thankful for that. I'll also put in a list of people that helped with modding channels and just in general being part of the community and actively part of the community. So without mentioning every name because I'd be here for a long time, I want to make sure that it's in the comment, or it's in the description of this video. And I'm thankful to all of you for financial support, but especially your time and attention. I want you to know that I value that a lot, and I'll definitely miss it. I'll definitely miss hanging out and being part of some really fun times, especially in streams. I've been having a lot of fun with streams, and you guys have been an incredible part of it. And so I just want you to know that I'm thankful for that, and I will not forget that forever. The help, support, and love that you guys have shown me, it's going to be with me for the rest of my life. There's no question about that. I just want you to know that. All right. I think that is it. I think this is farewell. As always, you guys have been so nice. Thank you for giving me your time. Thank you for sticking through this video. I hope it explained in some way the reasons behind it and what I'm doing. It's been incredibly difficult to record this and try to keep a straight, like, logical reasoning sense when you're speaking, because there's just so many thoughts flooding my brain around this. So if you have any questions, if you have any further comments, just put them in the comments below. You can hit me up on Discord. I'll probably be on Discord for a few more days. And probably some of you who are interested in keeping up with me personally, I might share my personal Instagram. I'll probably focus on that now, obviously, which I haven't updated much for the last few months because of posting everything on Syrkaz. But in my personal Twitter, I'll put it there as well, just so we can keep in touch. Because honestly, I don't intend to play games for a while now. But when I do, I can't think of better people to play games than with you guys. I've had a blast, and I hope that you guys have a great day, great week, and yeah, I don't know how to end this. Have a good one. Thank you.